This episode of the BJJ Foxcast is brought to you by BioPro. BioPro is an all-natural alternative to prescription human growth hormone, which aids in recovery, anti-aging, metabolism, libido, immunity, skin health, cognition, sleep, and stress. Just one vial per day provides a substantial boost to all of these growth factors. Okay, so that's what they want me to say. Here's what I know as an aging grappler. I've been using BioPro Plus and the nighttime variant, BioPro Plus Cortisleep, for several months, and it feels like I've grown a third lung. My gas tank is noticeably bigger, my recovery is faster, and I'm back on the mats much quicker, not just between training sessions, but between rounds. Now you can get $30 off your first order of BioPro when you use the code FOXCAST at www.bioproteintech.com. That's code FOXCAST for $30 off your first order at www.bioproteintech.com. Thank you, BioPro. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the BJJ Foxcast. I am your host, Alex Martinez, and today I have Tojo and Danny on the show. Welcome back, boys.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Oh, you guys sound so enthusiastic. That was a great intro, by the way. I didn't stutter or anything, and you're like, welcome, thank you. Fucking assholes. Make it, like, increase some energy there, Danny.
I'll tell you what, I had 3 wishes on Father's Day,
Oh.
and this was one of them. And I am so glad to be here today with 2 of my favorite guys in the world and getting to be back on your podcast.
I'm a dog
See,
dad.
that's good bullshit. That's
I'm a
good
dog
bullshit.
dad.
Dog dad. Fucking dog
And
dad.
happy Father's Day to all the single moms out there.
Don't do that.
Does it even work?
Yeah, that's my cough button. So if I'm like talking and I don't want to fucking hear anything, I cough. So when I cough, I can hit the little button. And I'm the only one who has one, so don't start coughing.
I won't. You did drag me in here once sick, and I was like, don't cough, don't cough.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty selfish that way.
Yeah.
I don't care about your sickness. I care about the podcast.
That's true.
Yeah. I think
The show must go on.
I think this is episode 99.
99? You
99.
think?
I think it is. I think it's 99.
So one more.
Michael Jordan once hung like 60 points on someone with the flu. So you just got to go on, man.
The guy had the flu, so Michael Jordan had 60
No, Michael
points on
Jordan's
him.
had the
What
flu.
a dick.
And yeah, well, probably that guy too, so,
Yeah. Oh, this guy's got the flu. I'm going to put up a bunch of points on him, get him fired. What a jerk.
So podcast 99.
Podcast
Huh?
99. I think it is. I think it's 99.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And it'd probably be 200 if I had hit record the day after we thought of the podcast.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, but you think about it, like, there's a lot of podcasts like, oh, I want to be a podcaster. People start it and, it looks like a great idea and they think it's easy, but the sustainability of putting out a quality product weekly or even bi-weekly is,
it is easy.
Well, it's easy for this guy. He just
You
shows
just
up.
talk.
He just shows up, talks shit, and then he disappears.
right?
It's
So
not-
the
I'm a
next time you need him.
podcaster.
Yeah.
So I'm a
Well,
podcaster.
he's like in case the podcast break glass.
Right.
And there's Tojo.
Yeah,
he's just
yeah.
right behind there
Yeah.
looking at you with a, whiskey in his hand. So, and he walks in, he's like, hey, everybody.
Yeah,
So-
man.
It's like, what's that stupid red pill one?
Red pill.
Fresh and Fit. That's what it is.
What is that?
Fresh and Fit. So these 2 guys are basically say that women suck and all blah blah. It's like that's basically kind of like their spiel. But there's like the one guy who does all the talking, and there's one guy who just kind of sits there and smiles.
Okay.
He's just like, and he'll make one like sentence every like hour.
Why is he there?
I don't know.
Oh, like he's more like a support animal.
It's so the other guy has somebody to talk to.
Oh, I see.
Maybe.
I
don't
thought
know.
about. I've never done a solo podcast, and I'm like, I don't know why I don't know if afraid is the right word, but I'm kind of like, me talking.
Did you ever try to learn an instrument?
Yeah.
That was always like the weird thing. You'd be sitting in your room and you're like, I can't just play to myself. This is fucking weird.
Yeah. I remember I turned, was I 40? When I turned 40, like I had played an instrument when I was young. I played the trumpet or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And when I got older, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I want to learn an instrument. And I was listening to a lot of bluegrass music at the time. So anyways,
Okay.
so I bought a banjo. I'm like, I want to learn how to play the banjo.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to learn how to do it on my own. So I, bought the book and watched the YouTube videos and stuff and whatnot. And I'm like, this just feels weird, just doing it on your own. And then I
Yeah.
took lessons and then I realized I am no musical
You're
inclination.
not
in my
a
life.
banjo player.
Well, I'm not a musician in any way, shape,
Really?
or form. Like I just don't have the left brain, right brain thing.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. So.
I was wondering like who came up with the spoons idea. Remember the spoons?
Yeah, spoons are the mouth.
People who couldn't
afford
a real instrument.
Yeah, right. Washboard.
Probably
Yeah,
in
the
Illinois.
washboard. The washboard sounds cool though.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. Illinois
What?
is the south
Illinois?
of the north.
Really?
Oh yeah.
It's like Alabama of the North. That's
you
why
go to Indiana,
that's why he
man.
played a banjo.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You go to Indiana, there's Klan there, like old school
isn't that where it
Klan
started?
in Indiana, something
started
like
there?
that.
Yeah.
That's actually where I got that phrase from. I have a friend that's from Indiana. He's like, it's the South of the North.
The South of the North.
Wow, we're getting ripped up by Indiana.
Wow.
Jesus.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they're neighboring states, so it kind of makes sense. It's all kind of the same.
All states begin with I.
What?
They're the worst.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean they're the worst?
They're just the worst. They're the South and North, all of them.
Even Iowa?
Iowa.
Iowa's the South of the
Oh, yeah.
North?
I don't know. No. Do people even live in Iowa? I think you just drive through it.
They're the ones that we get our corn
there.
from, right?
Yeah.
We get our corn from
corn,
Iowa.
yeah.
So there's like 5 people.
Cattle.
Cattle.
There's probably 5 people in most of Iowa.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure there's like 2 like large city where all the population is condensed, and then everything else is like, you know, high school class of like 3.
Yeah. They don't even have a high school class. They just have like the big, like the schoolhouse.
The one room school.
And they do like all the grades at once.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember what towns they were from, but my friend Jenny, who's my diet coach, Jenny Fit, shout out to Jenny Fit, and her husband, Martin, who's a firefighter, they both grew up in 2 separate towns. They didn't know each other in high school, but I think Martin said he had like 14 people in his graduating class, and Jenny had like 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then my question was like, what number were you in your graduating class?
4.
Yeah. There you are. Top 5, baby.
Watch out, 3. You're in trouble. I'm coming.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Line of succession.
Yeah.
I'm like the
one
Secretary of State and valedictorian.
Yeah. Well, you know, I came from a town. We had, you know, just over 100,000 when I lived there. I think it's like at 180,000 now. It's not that big, but I still had like 600 and change in my graduating class in high school. So
we had like 200. It was like I went to Higley. It's first, whatever you call it, when like from freshman to senior year.
Yeah, first one. Yeah.
We were the first class that was freshman to senior year, and I think we had like 200-ish.
Yeah.
That was my high school. Yeah. I think we were 200, 210.
Well,
like
I'm just saying we had, at the time, we had 5 high schools in our town. If you get 100,000 people, 5 high schools, you should not have that many people in a graduating class. I'm just saying, we're a border town.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, census may not be right.
Just saying that you're saying?
Huh?
Just saying that you're saying?
See? Cough button. What would I want to talk about? I want to talk about... ooh, you fucker. That was good. That was good. I'm babbling.
Sniper over there.
You know what? He's just happy that his leg is long enough to reach.
He's gonna rewire it so when he hits it, it's gonna say Tojo is a fag.
Have you seen how or did you hear how like Joe Rogan has that extra wide table because he was afraid of Mike Tyson that one time?
Yeah, said he got the bigger table.
That's why he got the shorter table so I could reach across and press the button.
Yeah. It's kind of like you cannot ride the ride if you're this
yeah,
tall.
right.
Wanted to make sure Tojo could ride the ride. Hey, but I was thinking about changing the studio.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting rid of this table.
Okay.
And doing like 4 chairs.
So we just sit there like
cocks
out and we're just like,
cocks out, 4 chairs and a coffee table. That's what I'm thinking about doing.
Is that going to be the name of the podcast?
4 chairs and a coffee table.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing, dude. We should totally do that.
Yeah.
I don't want people to see what I do under the table.
I am going to rebrand the podcast too.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, I'm going to rebrand it. Yeah.
You're not going to keep it BJJ Foxcast?
No, it's going to be BJJ something. It's going to be something about jiu-jitsu, but it's going to be like an obscure name, not like a punch in the face kind of name.
I like the on the nose Foxcast.
Do you really?
Thing. I very much enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love just the whole idea of having something like Fox related. So I'll definitely keep that.
Understood.
But it'll be different. Yeah.
And I'll tell you this: I haven't seen those hats yet. That hat is gets me out.
You like it?
Pretty cool.
So,
there's a lot of you get small businesses want to make hats. And sometimes, they're just not nice looking, right?
Right.
Because they're not cheap to order. You got to order them in bulk if you want to get anything, and then you got to pre-order them, right? I mean, you're ordering them ahead of time, hoping to God you're going to sell out of them, and you're not sitting on inventory for 10 years.
Yeah, that's the worst part, dude. Like having things have birthdays is really frustrating. Like I don't. I've got storage, but literally, like whatever's in my storage, I bring to the guys in Mexico.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Rocky Point Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
I brought them a bunch of gis. Next time I'm going to bring them. Like, I've got tubs. I've got tubs of rash guards.
Well, I mean, do you buy that stuff like planning to make money off of it, or is it more branding?
It's more, I don't know, man. It's
or advertising.
Well, at the time, we were looking at increasing retail.
Right.
Because retail was bringing in a steady amount of money. Everybody was participating. They were like excited to get our stuff. And then it just stalled. It stalled because we don't have 1,000 students. You know what I mean? That's why it stalls. But, and when you come up with new creative, awesome, right? You get a new rash guard, maybe like a American flag or, something.
But then
right?
the old stuff is like, now that's
it's still there.
Trash.
Yeah, it's still there. And you're dropping, like you said, you got to buy in bulk. You can't buy 10.
Right, you can't buy 10. So then it's $40 a hat.
Yeah.
Right, and no one's going to buy a $45 hat.
No way.
Right, or $50 hat.
And I won't
now
sell
you got
it.
Right,
Yeah.
and you won't sell it because now you're sitting on it, right? So now you got to order 200 hats to get it down to a price where someone's going to pay for it.
But then you have to be able to sell.
Then you got to be able to sell
exactly.
it, right? And then you got to hope to God that it comes across good, right?
Yeah.
Because I've ordered, like all the school spirit stores now. Like, used to be like you could buy this shirt for like your kid's school or something. Like, so-and-so's playing volleyball or football or wrestling or whatever it is, right? You get it. Now you're ordering from, they have these websites. Like you just order from these websites and then when it closes, they ship it to you. Right. But, some of these you're getting they're off center, they don't fit right, and it sucks.
A lot of that. Yeah.
So you know what you get, but that's a nice looking hat. That's something I like wearing hats and something legit I'd probably wear.
Yeah. And like, the people that I partner with that make this hat, I had them send me one. I always order one because I want to wear it. I want to feel it. I want to make sure it's like worth it.
And you're okay with wearing like a $50 hat because it's like, whatever, fuck it.
No, I'm not okay with that.
Yes, you are.
But it's just an expense.
But that's the thing. Like, I will spend the extra because this costs money for shipping. Mm-hmm. And if you've never ordered anything for your business, this is how it works. There is a minimum amount that they'll charge you for shipping, and then it just gets more from there, right? So, when I ordered my logoed mats, that was $1,100. $500 of that was shipping.
Wow!
Just to get it on the truck is $500. That's their minimum. So when you order 10 of them, it's not worth it because in order to make a profit, you'd have to sell it for so much money. They're not worth it. Yeah. So you got to order a shitload of them. And if you don't have the student count to support the amount of sales you need to break even, it's not worth ordering. And that's what sucks. But this partner that I have, they will sell like 1 or 2 offs. You know what I mean? So I can order like 10. It'll cost me a little bit more in shipping, but not astronomically more. Right. So I can kind of afford it. But I really want to look at it. I don't want to order something off a photograph.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and they're always like that generic like catalog photo where it's like, I don't really know what it looks like.
Have you ever been in a shitty hotel that looked awesome online?
Every one I've ever been to.
Pretty much. They always it's better. You described this. You've just described ordering a gi.
Yeah,
right? Good, right. Good luck. Like, gi comes out, looks great. Hey, they're running a sale. I want to get this gi, and you get it, and you're normally whatever size you are. You're hoping to God this thing fits you like your other gis fit you. Yeah. Because there's not a gi store you can walk in and try these things on. And that sucks, So I always tell people, listen, you find a gi you like, buy it. Buy it in bulk until it goes out of business. Yeah. Right? Buy 100 of them. Yeah. Right? And just
and
keep
hopefully they don't. Right.
Right. Hopefully they don't. And then you go from there.
That's one of the top questions you get from like the new people is like, what's a good gi? Mm-hmm. And I always tell everybody the same thing. I'm like, they're all good gis.
They're all good gis.
They're all good. They're all good enough. Right?
They're all from one of 3 factories.
Find the one that fits you and don't ever deviate.
Yeah.
Because you will be disappointed. I have so many gis I've paid for that I wore like maybe for a week and was like, no, I don't like the fit on this anymore.
Yeah. Well, I was lucky. I partnered with Roll Union because the gi fits me really well.
Yeah. Right.
It fits me really well. And even like I'm wearing like a size a little smaller than I should because I have longer arms. Right. But I just went with instead of an A2 that fits me kind of baggy around the belly.
Probably fits you great right now.
No, stop it. I'm actually in pretty good shape right now. About a month ago, I probably an A2.
I'm pretty shape right now.
I'm pretty shape right now. I'm pretty round. Shape right now. No, I feel pretty good about the direction. I mean, I did a week in Mexico, stayed on my diet. Yeah, we drank some alcohol, but we stayed on my diet and I actually came back for the first time. I came back lighter from Mexico.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And that's only because I had to be. This is the stupid.
Did you
Alex.
switch it back to pounds? It's not still in kilos.
It's not in kilos anymore. So the stupid part is like I wasn't as diligent as I should have been with my diet while I wasn't on vacation that I had to be while I was. Right. So that. I screwed myself.
Sucks.
Yeah. It's stupid. I mean, and when you're doing it, you're like, why? I got all the time in the world when I'm home. I can meal prep. I can do all this shit. Here, I've got to go out and hunt for my meals, basically. Going out to restaurants, trying to figure out where you can eat. Yeah. And a lot of the places are like, yeah, cool. Like, they have great food, but they have the big giant serving of chips before the food. And then, all this.
I was talking to Ramsey. Is like, even when you get, like, say you have a salad at most places is still like 1,200 calories.
Yeah.
Huge.
When you start digging into that and they throw the cheese on it and the croutons.
Yeah.
I
love croutons,
hard
dude.
To
I will fuck some croutons up.
Yeah.
You throw yours away. What the hell's wrong with you? I've never called you out on it, but it bothers me.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because croutons are good.
Yeah. Take it or leave it. they're meh to me.
Oh.
Like I don't hate them, but I don't really care to have them.
Kind of like my relationship with you. I don't hate you, but gosh, it's fun when you're not
I'm around.
Yeah, it's really fun when you're not.
I get delivered when Kelsey comes.
Kelsey's coming over. Fuck. I mean, Kelsey's cool.
But the croutons.
Yeah, croutons come with the salad. You got to pick them out. Oh, my God. Yeah. No, we went to Rocky Point Jiu-Jitsu and trained with those guys, and they asked for you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I just saw Tony.
What do they call him?
They call him El Grande. El Grande.
That's me.
Yeah.
Tony, what's his last name? Transit Roots.
Martinez. Yeah.
Tony Martinez was just down there with somebody else, and they brought him some new mats or something.
Yeah. I've got a couple mats I'm going to bring them,
nice.
and then I got some rash guards for those guys. And
those are good guys.
They're trying to get a bigger place.
Okay.
So what I'm thinking about doing, I don't know how logistically this is all going to work, but I want to do a fundraiser for those guys to help them with their new place. I don't know what I'm sure they need mats, right?
Yeah.
But that's like, depending on the size, it could be a $10,000, $15,000 investment.
Yeah.
They don't have it.
What kind of mats do they have right now? Like puzzle mats?
It's kind of like a mix and match. They've got some Fuji mats, like the regular Fuji mats, and they have an area that's kind of tarped, and they kind of mismatch mats under the tarp.
Okay.
So
just make it work.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to get, because they have a nice logo. It'd be cool to get them mats with a logo, stuff like that. So I'm thinking about doing a little fundraiser for those guys, but I want to make sure that the money is allocated correctly and delivered to them correctly, and they get exactly what they need. I want it to be well organized.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna work with is it Armando?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna work with Armando. Yeah, and also asked for you.
Yeah, the purple belt. Yeah, the big guy. So he's back fighting and training and he's doing.
Yeah,
so.
I rolled with him, and he's a tough roll.
He's big. He's a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be 240 pounds easy.
Yeah, but he admitted to me that he was talking to me about coming back from the injury. He's very reluctant to push off that foot.
Yeah, understood. I've been there. Yeah, exactly how he feels. You know, it takes a little bit of time to get your sea legs back, so to speak.
Did he Achilles tendon too, or
no? I don't know what he screwed up his foot though.
It was either an ankle break or I think it was a break. I think because he trains Muay Thai also. I think it might have been he either fell on it wrong or it was a kick, but he had a break on his lower leg.
Yeah,
so.
And they asked for Chris. They asked how Chris's ankle is doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they call him El Fuerte. Yeah. So, yeah, I let him know Chris is doing well. He just, it just happens, man.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? It's jiu-jitsu. You're gonna get hurt.
Yeah. So I went to their Saturday open mat.
Okay.
And it turned into like a little class. They were asking questions, so I was answering some stuff.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. They're great people.
Is the owner's not a black belt, right? Or is he?
No. The highest rank in there is a purple belt.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you show up as a black belt, they're asking questions and they're really enthusiastic, and the language barrier is really easy to overcome because they have a couple guys in there speak really good English.
Yeah.
So you can just talk and they'll translate. Yeah. It's
a lot of them. They're in the service industry down there, so
Yeah.
they're very bilingual.
That town in general, I think most of the people you talk to are going to know at least
some
English.
Yeah, some.
You get by all right, but I mean they bring it, and I mean these are. When you think about it, and I've said this, like, we've got it pretty easy training jiu-jitsu, right? Like, we've got jobs or steady income or, we own an academy or whatever it is. We have the means and the ability. We have health insurance.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. We have supportive families. We didn't have to learn a new language, right? But we get these instructors come from Brazil. They got to learn a whole new language sometimes, right? And then they're trying to teach.
Remember when Italo started?
Yeah.
With us, he barely.
You could barely speak English,
but he struggled really hard.
It's really impressive how fast they pick up English.
Yeah. Now you can have conversations with them. Yeah.
But like these guys in Rocky Point, like they're service industry workers, most of them, right? Or they're manual laborers of some sort. So they're killing themselves at working shifts, and they're still getting into training. Kelsey and I were just talking about this. Like, listen. If it's important to you, you'll find a way to do it.
Yeah.
Right. You're gonna do it. So
I thought Dan was about to out somebody.
No,
I'm not outing anybody.
When Danny and I went, you set it up. Danny set it up with the guys out there.
Yeah.
And they were texting him or messaging him like the day before, like, "Hey, are you sure you guys are coming? Because they're like calling off work just to be able to train with us."
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and they need that money. Like, Armando was we went for Circus Mexicus for Roger Klein, the Peacemakers, the week of like just music and debauchery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's where he makes a lot of his money. So he wasn't able to he didn't want to call out, obviously, right? And
especially the weekend.
Yeah,
like, that's where they all make their money. Right?
And he was very grateful that we swung by and rolled with those guys. So if you guys are ever, if anybody listening is ever at Rocky Point, check out Rocky Point Jiu-Jitsu. Their schedule's online, and they have an open mat Saturday morning. So I mean, you might be a little hungover, but they're freaking cool guys, man. They're they're so grateful. You know what I mean? Like it's really refreshing to see somebody just with such gratitude that you're just showing them shit.
Yeah.
You know? And I had this white belt, bigger kid, leaned in a lot, and you know, he was asking the most questions. He's like, what? And it wasn't like, what if, you know, like what if questions. He's like, well, what about opening the closed guard? And then we were talking about the difference between being on your knees, being, you know, upright, you know, stand, and all that stuff. And he was gobbling it up, man. It was really cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I hate those what if questions. I don't, let me rephrase that. I don't hate those what if questions, but those what if questions, they're so niche. You know, well, what if they do this? Well, then you're going to probably do another move.
Yeah.
And you'll learn that other move at another time.
Then we'll do something else.
Well, then we're going to do something else. So like, what if? Ah, fuck. All right, that's it. You're fucked. That's it. You just, I'm done.
Got me.
Oh
you
my
got
God.
me. Son of a bitch.
Oh my God, you figured out how to beat jiu-jitsu. Good job.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, you're right. I mean, you could what if everything. Like, there's always a counter to a counter to a counter,
100%,
right?
yeah.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about this specific move in this very instant.
Or like the scenario.
Right.
They
this
do
scenario
this,
right
therefore,
here, right?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, how do I break the open guard? Or how do I break closed guard? Well, it's easy. You know, you gotta put pressure on the hips, you gotta move away, you gotta put pressure on the ankles. Well, what if I break the open guard? Well, then you've broken the open guard, but now you got to beat him in the transition, champ, and we'll talk about that another time. So, see you tomorrow.
Yeah. We're going to start doing workshops at the academy.
Nice.
So we're talking about that as a team.
Like mini seminars, essentially?
Sort of, yes. Yes. So, but the difference is, like, you ever go to a seminar? I mean, every seminar that I've ever been to in my life has never been preceded by any kind of syllabus, any kind of way to understand, like, hey, I want to go to the seminar because they're doing X. I'm going to learn. You show up and you're like, oh, we're doing this today. Right. Okay, cool. You know, and then you pick up some stuff, but you don't have the means to prepare.
Learning to grip fight today.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. I'd do that Marcelo seminar all over again. That was awesome. So what we're doing is, like, we're going to do, I told the coaches one thing that's most important to me. These workshops cannot suck.
Yeah.
So if you don't have it down and you don't know every little detail to talk about and you don't know how to articulate it, you're not going to get the opportunity to teach one of these workshops, right? Mm-hmm. So they have to be good because they're not going to be free. Right. So we're going to charge for people to come in and do these workshops. And we're also going to incentivize people who bring people in, like referrals. Mm-hmm. They'll get a free workshop, but the academy will pay for them so the instructor doesn't lose money. Right. So it's going to be one of those deals where...
Are you going to do like a per diem thing for the instructor, or is it just going to be like...
We're going to cap it at that many people, and they get a percentage, the majority of the percentage, right? We're going to keep a little bit because it takes money to turn the lights on and you know, that kind of shit. But not much. Like, it would be probably as much as I keep for a private, which is almost zero. Right. You know what I mean? But I want to bring more value to the students. And the reason I'm going to charge them is something that I learned from Dave. Remember Dave Riley from Tucson? Dave Riley?
Doesn't sound familiar.
So Dave Riley had a big school. I don't know. He probably still does. But he was in Tucson. I haven't talked to him in a long time. But he used to bring in, like, big names for seminars, like JT Torres at the time, and, you know, all those guys. And he said, he's like, yeah, he goes, I would just pay for it, and nobody would show.
Yeah.
Like, they'd sign up, but nobody would show. So you got JT Torres teaching like 6 people.
Right.
You know, because there was no skin in the game. So I want to make sure there's skin in the game. I'm going to cap it at maybe 10 people, you know, and we're going to put a price to it. And then...
So you can actually get, like, some one-on-one.
Yeah, some. Yeah, but imagine if you have 10 people, that's only 5 groups.
Right.
So you should be okay.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to go into this, like, super detail on, even if it's just like an arm bar or a triangle or something, some kind of workshop that works on one specific thing. And it's going to be once a month. So when people are signing up for the workshop, they can start preparing for that, right? And then come up with all these, you know, good questions to ask.
Are you going to prepare the information, or is this whoever wants to do a workshop is going to have? This is what they're going to, like, propose. Like, hey,
they're going to propose.
I want to do De La Riva sweeps from whatever.
And I don't want to hear, like, oh, hey, I want to do an ankle lock. I want to know exactly what you're doing because I want to get a good feel for, hey, this will bring value. Therefore, we will put it on the schedule.
Are you talking half hour, hour?
Hour. Yeah, 1 hour. and they can roll after if they want, but 1 hour of instruction is what they're going to be paid for. Right. So I think that'll bring a lot of value, and I think for the most part, it's a good opportunity for the coaches to meet the other students, because we're kind of isolated, man. There's there's no-gi coaches, there's gi coaches, there's morning guys, there's evening guys, and we're all in our little silos, and I really want to bring the team together somehow. I think that's a really good way. And we're going to do all kinds of stuff. Like I've got 4 TVs in the place. I figured out how to tie them all together. Sure. I think you and I talked about that. Yeah. And we're probably going to do like open mats with an event on the TV and stuff. We're going to do like kids stuff and all kinds of stuff. CJI.
Well, that'll be great too, though, right? Because if you get a morning class guy who teaches something, and then the evening class guys can attend it because the schedule's different, right? You're crossing over into that different ecosystem, right? Like, I think that's one of the worst things that a student can do is just. And I get it. Sometimes people have a schedule, and they can only go to that class because of their schedule, and completely understood. But if you have the flexibility to attend different classes and see how other people teach, you absolutely need to, right? Because you're going to learn a different technique, or you're going to learn a different way that it gets explained, and maybe it clicks in your head that time, and you understand. And plus, you're going to see who your other teammates are, too.
Exactly.
A lot of times you just don't see them.
And the other thing I told the coaches was like, if you tell me you want to teach a workshop, that is your commitment. That's it. Like, there is no, oh man, I really can't do it. You got to show up. This is your show.
Yep.
Like, we sold it. We sold you to these 10 people that are paying good money to come.
Right.
You got to do it. I'm sorry. I mean,
there's no substitute teacher for that.
No, I mean, how do you over prepare for something that, like, overnight? You can't. I mean, you can go in and winging it is not an option. I won't allow that. So I hate to say it, but I've been to some seminars that were just not good.
I've been to a lot of seminars.
They're just
good.
But it wasn't what I wanted. That's why they weren't good. My heart wasn't in it. My brain wasn't in it. I'm going through the motions. And listen, I pay for all my seminars.
Yeah.
Even when I go to Paul's, I pay for the seminar. Like, I don't go there just because I'm a black belt. They're like, oh, you don't have to pay. Bullshit. I pay. So I do it for 2 reasons. Like, I want to support whoever shows up, and does a seminar. But I also, like, I don't know, it kind of gives me it mentally gives me the right to not want to participate next time. Yeah. Anybody says, oh, that seminar sucked. Bitch, you didn't pay. You took up space. Yeah. I don't want to hear that shit. Oh, there were too many people. Yeah, dick, because half of them didn't fucking pay. So, if you pay money, it kind of gives you the right to say, hey, this is not for me.
I think it needs to get cleared up. Like, when an academy brings an instructor in, they're not making $5,000 off of this thing off the top.
I made $35. The most I've ever made on a seminar is $35.
Right, like, that $5,000 isn't going into the brand new Alex Martinez Lamborghini account, right? It's just not happening.
Don't tell them about the Lambo, Dick.
Right, like, well, the AEM, branded Lambo. Right. But nobody's making money off. Even the big name guys that come into town that get 300 people sign up for it, you're not making money on.
No, you're not making any money.
It's just not. It's just not happening.
Cost that much.
Yeah, they cost a lot of money.
You're hoping at best to break even. And you're not going to.
Plus, you have to pay for their hotel, their travel.
You got to have a place for them to stay. Yeah. Right? If it's an Aries guy that's coming into town to get a relationship, maybe they stay at your house, right?
Yeah.
You got that, right? So you save a little bit of money that way. But otherwise, if you're bringing a big name person into town, like, they're staying at a hotel somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. They fly in. They stay in a hotel. They eat meals. They need vehicles. They need, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And they get their money regardless of what you bring in.
Right.
So if they cost $5,000 and you only make $4,000 on the entries, I'm sorry, buddy, you're out of grant just for the seminar. It doesn't even include the hotel and the flight and all that stuff. So I mean, it's hard, dude.
Yeah. How I don't know if you want to talk about it. How much are you going to charge?
I'm floating the idea of maybe $35 to $40.
That's not bad. That's really reasonable.
Yeah, I think so. And that's for a deep dive, for a 1 hour deep dive. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And it's skin in the game.
Yeah. Right.
Anybody can blow $20. You've done stupider shit with $20 and give it to me and then not show up.
$20 is $20.
Well, and if it's, if it is something that a student needs to work on in that game, like, hey, I need to get better with my arm guards from arm bars from,
wherever,
right? Whatever it is, right? You're essentially going to a private lesson, because if it's going to be capped at 10 people, right? It's basically a private lesson for an hour to work exactly on the one thing you need.
Yeah.
And if you walk out of there with something for $40, like, what else are you going to,
right?
There's value there.
Yeah.
Are you looking to open that up to non-Aries or at least non-AEM people? Is that how you're doing
I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I think the fair thing is that I take care of my people first.
100%.
And then, if it spills over, cool. But I'm not going to have 20 people in there just for the sake of making money.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm doing it to bring value. And I'm charging money because they've got to have skin in the game or else they won't show. Sure. And that's just the way it is.
Yep.
That's just the way
Pay
it
up
is.
front.
Yep. Pay up front.
Yep.
And you secure your spot. And then, and the thing is, like, I want to be able to look my students in the eye and say, I guarantee you're going to like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but like when a seminar comes to town, I encourage everybody to show up. Absolutely. You want to support, you want to invest in your jiu-jitsu, but I can't vouch for the person teaching the seminar because I don't know their mental state. I don't know how long they've been traveling. I don't know where they came from. I don't know if they're injured. Like, I don't know any of that stuff.
This could be MCC or this could be Harvard. You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know, man. You don't know. And there are some that just knock it out of the park, but there's others that don't.
Yep.
And
ones that you would expect.
Yeah. And I insist that anybody that's, teaching these knocks it out of the park. I insist. So that's kind of where I'm going with it.
Kind of failure's not an option.
Not an option, baby. Not an option. So, when I was telling the coaches, I was like, hey, I'm sorry if I'm coming across like a dick, but these can't suck.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do two, and if 50% of them suck, I guarantee the numbers are going to drop on the third one. No one's going to.
Well, I mean, you want to like, hey, if your heart's not in this, don't
do it. Yeah, don't do it. Yeah. But if you're willing to prepare, like over prepare and really bring a good product, awesome. I'm all about it.
It'd be cool if you can get like one of the guys from like Goodyear to
Maybe.
teach.
Yeah, but like I said, like this is not their seminar. This
right.
is my students' workship.
Right.
So that's just
I mean,
the way
yeah,
it's going to be.
obviously you'd have to.
Yeah, and we're going to do is like maybe survey the students. Maybe through Instagram, like, hey, what do you guys want to see in workshops? And
because that would be kind of cool. Is like because you already have like kind of like that survey system.
Mm-hmm.
Like, be like, hey, what stuff are you guys looking to learn, or what are you struggling with?
Yeah.
Like have them select topics as opposed to someone who just like, I just want to teach omoplatas a bunch of times.
Yeah. And then people are like I don't do that. Yeah.
I don't care about omoplatas.
Yeah. But if you have 30 people that respond going, I would love to do omoplatas. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of the direction we're going. And we've got I've been sitting on ideas for months because I haven't had time to like sit down and implement them. But I think this will be a semi-easy way to start working on the things that I'm trying to implement. And, I'm doing a few things, like I'm stepping back from a couple things and allowing other people to kind of take over. And then, number one is get people through the door, but number two is the retention. Like I'm working really hard on retention right now.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's kind of the thing.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
yeah.
good thing.
It'd be a good time, man. And hopefully it turns into something bigger, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe we'll be doing 2 workshops a month instead of 1, right? Who knows? But the thing is, consistency is going to be the key.
Yep. Yeah, you can't let it just kind of like peter off,
right?
And then people forget about it. And then
you said Peter.
Well, that's the worst. Like, when something new gets started and it just, it's going great, and then it doesn't get embraced, it doesn't continue.
Like a podcast,
like a damn podcast. Like, who would do 98 episodes of this shit? Who would listen to 98 episodes of this
shit? Not many people.
I mean, 96 of them are all Tojo.
94. Yeah.
Right.
All the good ones. All the good ones.
People are like, oh, your co-host. He's not my fucking co-host. I just can't get rid of him. He's always here.
He's like Jack Black in High Fidelity. He just kept showing up.
No, I'll be honest with you. I may have told you this. Episode 1 was with Tojo.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
It's awful.
It can't be that bad. We're in it.
No, it's awful. Like half our faces are in the camera. You know what I mean? Is that kind of shit?
Yeah, like production value.
Production was awful. But I
don't even remember. Did you have these little cameras?
I only had 3 cameras.
Okay. Yeah, he didn't have a lot of
I think we were like 1, 2, 3.
It was a different table.
Yeah, smaller table. It was a little bench basically, like a Husky bench from Home Depot that's at the Academy now. But I thought about who I wanted on the very first podcast. And I was like, man, I'd love to have this person on, that person on. But what if it's all fucked up and I do a lousy job? So I was like, I'll just do it with Tojo. Let's screw it up. Who cares? But it turned out to be fun, right? It turned out to be really cool. And I was still trying to figure out, like, there was still echoey, you know what I mean? So I was still trying to figure out the room. And I hung some gis up on the wall for a while. And
I remember that, yeah. The shoes? Where
the shoes, the wrestling shoes are in the closet. Yeah, I gotta pull those back out. But yeah, it's come a long way, man. And I think the next step is to brighten the room up, change this wall. I'm actually gonna put a wall up, with some kind of background. And I want I don't know, like a lounge.
Okay.
And if it doesn't work out, I'll put the table right back in. Who cares? Right?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every podcast has iterations.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I really like what Andrew Schultz does with his podcast, with the exception of they're always doing this when they're talking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they maintain good microphone, like,
honestly, like having
knowledge.
3 or 4 people is kind of too much.
It is. Yeah.
Because
Can you
everyone
leave, please?
Dan.
Please.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it ends up just being people talking over each other.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare. Like, honestly, I think when it was you, me, Aaron, and Jake Watson, like, somehow nobody was, like, really talking over each other. Everyone was, like, really respectful of everyone's like, talking, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't often happen like that.
Yeah.
Most of the podcasts I've ever seen where it have, like, 3 or 4 people, it's like, blah, 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 blah. Everyone's talking at once, and you're like, what? This is awful.
Well, it's different when you're like sharing knowledge versus trying to defend a position.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. If you're sharing knowledge, you can wait. I'm not going to lose my thought. But when you're like defending a position, like my thing is when I talk over somebody, it's a horrible thing because I'm fearful of forgetting my thought.
Okay.
Right? And that's an impulse thing, right? I gotta just remember that. Yes, you will remember. Maybe not now, but it'll come.
Right.
Who cares? You know. So that's what when I talk over somebody, that's 99% of the reason I do.
Yeah.
I think that's.
I mean, I think a lot of people do that too, when they're trying to argue a point.
Yeah.
It's like kind of human nature where you want to be the louder one because that means you're right. You know what I mean?
I'm usually wrong when I'm loud. Like Amy's like, you're totally wrong. Ah, fuck. Okay. So
yeah, but I was louder.
Yeah, I was louder. Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about stuff. You know, like when Jake was wrong about the guard pulling penalty.
Jake, I am not the one saying. Where's the camera? I am not the one saying that. That's this guy. So kick his ass. He's gonna be back on the show. He says he has a big announcement.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, I said I have the studio ready tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm not ready because I haven't announced it yet. I was like, you can announce it on my show, man.
Maybe he's gonna take over for Seth.
I don't know. How's that, man?
I mean, they're gonna
that turned into really not a good.
There's
thing,
no
man.
way they can keep him.
Yeah,
no,
that got out of hand fast.
Yeah, he's got to
like,
go,
fast.
man. Yeah, and I don't dislike. I don't know him, but I don't dislike him. Like he's never done anything to piss me off or anything like that. But you can't say what
he's always been nice to me. But that was really fucking stupid.
Yeah,
that was really fucking stupid.
And that was just an emotional thing coming out. It wasn't anything.
Yeah,
I'm sure he doesn't mean it, but that doesn't matter.
He's like, no, I do mean it in his message.
You will not be alive.
I am not joking. Yeah. You will be unalive.
Yeah, I seriously doubt he meant that, but I mean, it doesn't matter. He said it.
Nobody, means it.
No.
I mean, well, some people do, but I mean, that was really stupid of him.
I've never said like, oh, I want to kill that guy. I have said, I hope that person dies.
I'm like, I hope that guy stubs his toe. Really
yeah.
hard.
Well, that's good enough for me. Yeah, stub your toe. Maybe
I want them to be really inconvenienced.
Break that toenail.
I hope they're driving home and when they close the freeway and you're like stuck on the freeway, and you can't fucking leave.
You can't leave. And there was an exit like just behind you.
Yeah,
you're
sitting there and you can look up at the ramp and you're like.
Yeah. And they got the little arrows.
Everyone behind you is like,
or there's smoke on the horizon. You're like, son of a bitch,
I fucked up. That's what I hope happens to these people.
Or right, there's. There's construction coming up ahead, so you're like, you know what? I'm going to take a different way, and that fucking route's under construction too. And you're like, you got to be kidding me. The map said I should keep going this way, but I wanted to go this way because I'm smarter than map is. And now I am stuck still.
I fucking hate it when I'm like, oh, the freeway's closed. I know which way I'm going to go. This way. Yeah, me and everyone else.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm like, God damn it.
You and 2 million of your friends. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That always drives me nuts. We're like driving through neighborhoods and like, so is everyone else.
Well, it's like now when I go west of Priest, it's a nightmare, dude. Like they've changed all the highways on me.
Yeah.
Like I don't go that way anymore. Like I just go to Guadalupe. I like Guadalupe and Ellsworth. That's kind of where I back and
straight
forth.
Up to the 60 and then
that's
back
it.
Over,
Yeah. So I rarely even take the 60, dude. I'm on Guadalupe in that Jeep. I'm not
take Guadalupe all the way over.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, it's 45 miles an hour. It's completely stress free. I'm off the 60. No one's cutting me off. It's freaking great.
It's not stress free to me. Like that strip from my house to the 60 when I'm coming to your school.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I can't wait to get to the freeway when there's no stoplights.
Yeah.
Like
So I think it's like, I want to say it's like Greenfield. I think it's Greenfield.
Where it has the double one where there's like a light and then there's another light.
Yeah,
where
by the fire station.
Yes.
Yes. There are so many fucking accidents at that intersection. I don't know if it's because of that double light.
Yeah.
But that's the only place where I run into issues, man. Like, how do you wreck there? Like, how do you wreck there? Like, there's just...
Well, it's like the freeway intersection on Guadalupe.
Yeah.
Dude, every year the snowbirds come... You'll see one get stuck in the middle of the intersection because they don't know where to go.
They don't know where to go. Yeah, man, it sucks.
Because they have like the on ramps are coming and off ramps are like this weird diagonal, like a cutting across all lanes of traffic.
Yep.
It's like it's just weird. And then there's a couple that are just going, north, south, east, west.
Yep.
It's without fail every year.
It's awful.
Snowbirds come. One's getting stuck, and they're just like they just freeze in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
and I'm just here sitting here. Oh, I'm going around. That's not my problem.
Yeah, yeah. I don't go to the Costco off of Sossaman and Southern during the winter.
Oh yeah,
that is like Snowbird Central,
yeah.
dude. And
well, because there's all those like trail. It's like a nicer trailer park, but it's like basically trailers where all the retirees go.
Yes, it's not their fault. Whoever designed that parking lot, that entry and exit to that parking lot is a fucking asshole.
Yeah, just piece of shit.
It's awful. It's like, it's such a poor design. Like, I'm not a civil engineer, but even I could have done better than that, dude. Like, you can look at it and be like, this is stupid. This is a fucking stupid design. And it's like,
I feel that way every time I go to Chandler Fashion Square. Their
oh my God,
is so fucking bad.
that place strikes me as like, fuck it, let's just put something here. Yeah, all right, cool, man. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
It's like one of like the 3 malls that are left in Arizona, and it's one of the worst parking lots ever.
This is like the most old person conversation we've ever had on this podcast.
That's all right.
Fucking talking about traffic. We're talking about traffic.
And those Gen Z kids.
Those Gen Z. God damn it. Them and their YouTubes.
God, speaking of Gen Z, and they're taking back the 90s style, I was like, that was the worst style.
Oh, with the girls with the pants up to above their bellies,
like the baggy pants, and the high socks. It's like that's like the dad style. Like,
my generation had the worst clothing. We had the worst clothing. Like colors were
60s?
just shit. No, asshole. Like
60s.
90s. Like 90. I started high school in 1988. How old were you? 4?
2.
So in 1988, freshman year high school. And I can tell you from...
When you started high school, I was 1 because my birthday's in December.
Yeah. So you were 1. So, but it was like just fucking... dude. You couldn't even call it fashion. It was bad. It was so bad.
The 80s,
anyway.
yeah.
I love looking at graduate?
91.
So you started 87 then?
88. Because I think my brothers graduated in 87. So I came in a year
88
later.
to 89 would be freshman year.
Yep.
89 to 90 would be sophomore. 90 to 91 would be junior.
Yeah, it's got to be 87 then.
87 because that's when I started.
Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing.
87. Yeah.
87.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, you're right.
Did you even go to high school? That's probable cause.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is.
Oh my God, yes, we were just talking about that. Oh my God. Dude, I can't get out of this rabbit hole, dude, with cops doing like just stupid shit.
Ruining their lives.
Yeah, a lot of them have been fired. But it's like, let's just say I've watched 1,000 videos like that, right? There's probably 10 million videos of cops doing like cool shit, like really nice things, right?
Yeah.
But these are just like very specific. And there's people that like they stalk cops. Like they know they're shitty, you know what I mean? Or they know they're going to do something that'll get them clicks.
They just like goad them into like, you're being an asshole to this guy, but you're not breaking the law.
Yes.
And then they overstep their boundaries.
But these guys could really use an ass kicking. Not the cop, the guy baiting them. Dude, it's like...
Have you ever heard of a sovereign citizen?
Am I being detained?
Oh, God, they're awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
The sovereign citizen...
No, what is that? What is
awful.
that?
They're the ones that think they're not a member of the United States anymore. They're like their own sovereign citizen.
The fuck does that
so
even mean?
They think that they don't have to abide by the laws because they're a sovereign citizen.
Are those the guys that don't update their license plates and shit? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't think
those guys.
They're like,
need an
I'm
ass
not
kicking.
driving. I'm traveling.
Yeah.
Okay. You're traveling in a car. That's called driving.
That's called driving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're on a taxpayer paid freeway. So
they're like if a debate bro like decided they want like, but one that doesn't have any idea what the fuck they're talking about.
Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They're like just trying to be really pedantic, but it like. Okay, cool. You're still going to prison.
You're still going to jail. Yeah, you're still going to jail. I'm going to tase you, and then you're going to jail. Yeah.
You still have to exit the vehicle, ma'am.
Yes. Like, so whenever I'm traveling, like Amy and I go to Mexico a lot. So, there's checkpoints, right? There's checkpoints on the way back, and and obviously there's the border crossing. But anytime I go to like one of those checkpoints or the border crossing, I lower all of my windows. You know what I mean? And I
got to air out the weed.
Yeah, got to air out the weed. That's number one. No, but I make sure like everybody in the car is awake. You know what I mean? And we all acknowledge that we're crossing a border or a checkpoint, and we just think it's never been an issue. It's the people that like, I've seen some where they're like, the cop pulls a guy over and he'll lower his window like that much.
Yeah.
And the cop's like, hey, put your window down. Oh, I can hear you just fine. I was like, oh God.
I mean, technically,
Why?
technically he's
I
right,
get
though.
it. I get it.
Technically, he's right.
I get it. But like, if you're being pulled over, right, you are now in that policeman's office. You're in their job. Like, you are part of their job, right? You're in it. Why not just make things easier for both of you?
Well,
Like,
hopefully he beats my ass, and then I get money.
Well, it's like, it parallels.
I ain't afraid of no ass whooping. Just I'll tell you.
It parallels to somebody who's like, I hate school. Awesome. Just go, get C's,
Yeah.
get the fuck out of
Get
there
the
as
fuck
fast as
out.
you can. You don't like this? Awesome, right? You're getting pulled over. I get it, right? It sucks. You hate it. Everyone's heart rate's going right now. Make it as quick to get out of there as possible.
That's it.
It's not that hard.
That's it.
You can deal with it. No, I'm not saying you've got to kowtow to something or
No, of course not.
whatever it is. I understand that 100%, right? Like if you're getting wronged, you're getting wrong. But the recourse for that is not going to be on the side of the road with an officer at that
Right,
point.
yeah,
Right.
you can argue with a judge.
You're not going to, regardless of how right you are, right? You do not have recourse at that point to fix this situation. Your best thing is if you're getting pulled over for something you didn't do or something you didn't think you do, right? Take your lumps at that point. You have an opportunity, to do it, right? And, and there it is,
Yeah, my brother got pulled over in Texas, and his name came back with like felony warrants.
Yeah.
I don't know how many, but a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And
David Martinez.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah. And so my brother's like, well, that's impossible. Like, I'm a paramedic. Here's my credentials. And he's like, I wouldn't be able to get these if I had felonies. It's like, it's an impossibility. And it was like one of those things where the birthdays didn't match or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
And so the cop that he's dealing with was like he was being pretty cool about it. Like, had every right to put him in handcuffs, put him in the car, because that's like a thing. But when he started explaining, it may have helped that he was a paramedic, right? But he starts explaining to this cop, and he's like, man, I don't know how to explain this, but this is how your name's coming back. And there's another cop with him, and the other cop's going, well, just go into the system and work it out. And my brother's like, no, I'll get fired. Like, no, absolutely not. But obviously he didn't have a choice, right? Unless the cop gave him a break. Well, the cop A tells him, okay, you need to call this number as soon as you get home. And it's like an FBI place, like some kind of admin place. Yeah. And my brother's like, is it going to be like calling like, the Department of Treasury where you're on hold for 3 hours?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I was literally thinking in my head, I was like, yeah, those calls usually take 2 seconds.
Yeah,
right.
Well, my brother says he called and he says, hey, there's been a mistake. This is my name. This is my number, Social Security, all this stuff. And he goes, it says that I have felony warrants and this is not true. Dude, he said 2 seconds later, the guy's like, okay, you're good. And he's like, wait a minute, I almost went to jail. What do you mean I'm good?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, yeah, you're good. So they have to like, there's a process of elimination, but you have to initiate it.
Mm. So he's kind of like, thank you, but fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wait a minute, I'm not thanking you, you fucking asshole. But imagine the adrenaline rush sitting there when somebody's like, you got felony warrants.
Oh, God. Well, speaking of which, those assholes who were like, why do you look nervous? Dude, I'm a fucking adult right now. I can afford a speeding ticket, but I'm still like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm dead to rights. I'm like, just write my ticket, but I'm still like fucking nervous.
Of course,
you're gonna be.
Of course,
It's like
You're gonna be.
it's not really even like what I think I did. It's like I don't know what you think I did.
Yeah, or what kind of day you're having, or any of that shit. Because I mean, I was talking to a firefighter this weekend. We were at a pool party, and he was telling me like when guys in his, I don't know what you call them, his little troop, whatever, the people in his little group, whenever they're having a bad day and they have to interact with people, they'll be like, hey, go sit in the truck. Like, you're just not projecting a good vibe. And is because
Bad vibes.
Well, because like they're not dealing with like people that are having a great fucking day.
Yeah.
It's probably the 1% of their life that they don't want to live right now, and they don't need somebody with a fucking attitude that they called. So it was really cool. He was saying like, And he was saying he's been around long enough that he could start the process of retirement. It's pretty interesting the way they do it, by the way. But so he said, like, his biggest fear, he loves the job, he loves doing it, he loves teaching people, but he says his biggest fear is that he is going to overstay his ability to be cool. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, it'll just get old and he's just an asshole. That's his biggest fear.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
I feel like that at work.
Yeah?
I just fucking can't tolerate like idiots. I'll literally text my boss. I'm like, you need to jump in on this email because I'm about to be a real fucking asshole to this guy.
Yeah.
But I have like that relationship with my boss, which is like, I'll literally tell him, I'm like, I'm really close to being a real fucking asshole to this guy.
Yeah.
Because he's just like being really dense or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it.
Yeah, but I mean, but you're not. I mean, you might be, but they deal with people who are like, you know, schizophrenic and off their meds.
Oh yeah, and I'm not saying my situation's easy or harder than you know, whatever.
Yeah, and he said some of the calls they get are like, people would call them a waste of time, but he makes the most of it. It's like, you know, old people that are just lonely.
Like
you
when
know?
Vic and I were having a bonfire in the backyard, and we like had the fire
Yeah,
department.
but Vic is on the verge of burning the fucking neighborhood down at all times.
Do you remember when he cut down that whole tree?
Bro, have you seen this place
And we lit
right
the
now?
whole fucking tree on fire. Like, I would have called the fire department, and I'm like, I'm not getting involved ever. I'm like, no, I'm gonna call the fire department.
Yeah, dude.
And he is a firefighter.
He is a firefighter, but he had logs like lining his back wall all the way down. I'm like, Vic, you got neighbors, bro. Like, he's like, oh, it'll be all right. I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know.
He's breeding scorpions.
Black
widows. No.
Yeah, thousands of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that's. I thought that was interesting. You know, having that perspective. You know, most people. I don't know that most people do.
Most people are definitely not that self-aware.
Yeah.
Like going back to Seth, like just like you have the time you have to type this out. Type it out, read it. Sometimes typing out, like I'll type stuff to people, or like at work, like I was telling you, I get fucking so pissed.
Yeah.
It's like actually kind of cathartic just to like write the fuck you email. Just don't press send.
Yeah.
I have an outbox, right? Not the outbox, but the draft folder.
Yeah.
Right, of emails, right, that are written in the moment.
Yeah.
Right, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put a pin in this thing. I'm gonna step away from it. In 2 days, if this still matters, then I'll send the email.
Yeah.
Right, but if in 2 days I haven't even thought about it, or this thing just fizzled out like a lot of shit does.
Delete. Yeah.
I'm going to delete this bitch, right? Because there's no reason for me to have it anymore, you know, because there's times you do send it. And in that moment, it was probably something pretty major, you know. A lot of times it happens because, you know, you've seen one thing like, all right, this wasn't handled right. And then you see another thing, right? And now it becomes, well, I'm just looking for everything that's not being handled right now. Instead of looking objectively, you're looking subjectively for something, you know? And then all of a sudden it becomes, you know, it's a mountain.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like,
in my case, because I do audit, right? So a lot of times we're like really trying to avoid putting anything in writing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's always like jump on a phone call with whoever that is.
Yeah.
Which is like, honestly, that's the easiest way to handle most situations.
Yeah.
But there's no buffer.
Right.
So if you say something really bad by accident, like you just start getting heated if you have an argument. Like sometimes our conversations are contentious, right? Sometimes you feel like you might want to say something bad.
Yeah.
There's no buffer.
Yeah.
That's the nice part about email. But then whatever you say is in writing and everyone has it forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of double-edged.
Yeah. I worked for a lady once. Her name's Melanie Page, I believe.
What's your social security number?
I don't remember. But I'll tell you after the show. No, but Melanie was my boss, and she was probably one of the best bosses I worked for. But she would tell us, like, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but she would say, it's been decades, but she would say things. She would tell us, like, you know, if you're, you know, hungry, angry, or horny, don't send it.
Yep. Like,
that's the rule. Don't fucking send it, especially if you're angry, because that's when you write the stupidest shit.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. Ever since then, I've been like, okay, am I hungry? Am I angry? Okay. Nope, send. Perfect. Yeah.
All of the above.
All the above. Yeah. So, I mean, good advice. I mean, you know, especially the angry part. Angry emails don't ever end well for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, that kind of goes, well, let's leave the horny part out of it, but with rolling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if you're angry, you should probably, like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's my outlet. Yeah. I don't want you there if you're angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're going to hurt somebody.
Yeah. I mean, that's always a possibility, man. Especially if, or like, I really do not enjoy rolling with people who get pissed off when they get submitted.
Oh yeah,
They're not pissed off at me. They're just pissed in general.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Like
Yeah.
I don't like the vibe. I don't like the energy. I don't want any part of it.
Because then you have this like fight for your life round after that,
mhm.
and you're like,
I'm not in the mood. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get them in an armbar or something and they won't tap. Okay, now I got to let you go or I got to be a bad guy.
yeah.
You know?
I
don't
either
wanna
have to
be a
hurt
bad-
you or you have to hurt me.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's just like,
Exactly.
yeah.
I don't like it at all. People that punch the mats, like that's where we're done. Let's take a break. Or I'll just say I'm gonna go get some water and I just walk off.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it happens more when they're newer,
Mhm.
and they like usually, hopefully, you learn some humility and you learn to deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we all know black belts that are
Yeah.
like that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's tough to deal with. It's kind of like that whole leave your ego at the door. And it's not even for necessarily your betterness. It's for everyone else's.
Yeah.
You know.
Benefit of the whole team.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about Gustavo Dantes competing?
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool, right?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been a while.
He's been out of the game for a long time.
He's been injured. He's been injured a lot.
The last time I saw him was probably the Abu Dhabi, what was it? Or the UAE thing. It was like some sort
In
of
Phoenix?
No. This is like where he had to like go overseas to it, and he wrist locked the guy from guard.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's what happened. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But that was like, God, it must have been maybe a blue belt.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That was like close to 10 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. I saw him do the adult division at Pans. I think he was 41 years old.
Mm.
That was maybe 2017, 2018, somewhere on there.
Did he?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He did the adult division, and he had to cut like crazy, dude. I remember he was little.
Yeah.
So
I wondered if he did. I would assume he did featherweight in New York.
maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
He's not big enough to be light. I wouldn't think, at least. And he stays lean. That guy's
Yeah, he stays
always
really lean.
like really
Yeah.
skinny. So
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a big guy.
No.
He's not big shoulders on him or anything. He's
No.
got a
No.
slim.
But you ask any of his black belts, they'll tell you, man. He's tough.
Yeah.
He's still tough. So, yeah, good on him. He's almost a coral belt, I think. Right? He's got to be close.
he's got a lot of stripes on that
Yeah,
black
he
belt.
does. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's got to be pushing it.
Yeah.
I watched a mini documentary on that whole system. I don't remember any of it. No, there's like the coral with the white, and then there's the coral with the black.
Yeah, what is the difference? Do you guys know? I don't know.
It's like the first step is coral with the white, and then you get the coral with the black, and then you get the red
just
belt.
a red belt, yeah.
Mm.
And in the red belt, I think there's like a committee
Yeah.
that decides whether or not you get it.
Wow.
And I could be talking out of my ass because
No, I think you're right on that because I remember them talking like there could eventually never be another red belt. Because
Right.
these guys could die off and they could never have anybody replace it. And you're just never have another red belt again.
Then
Wow.
you're gonna have some guy who just has Jesus give it to him or something.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's always a
Just
thing, right?
self-promote himself,
What was
yeah.
that guy? He's
There's a
like, God
recent
gave
guy.
me my brown belt.
Yeah. No shit. Took a little time to give you a brown belt, did he? Wow. Yeah. Yeah. There was a guy that said that Jesus Christ promoted him to black belt. I remember I was a white
remember that
belt.
one,
I was
too.
a white belt.
There was a
when he-
black guy.
No, he was a white dude, long hair.
Mm.
But he was like, yeah, Jesus promoted me to black belt.
There's so many of these guys. They're
Yeah.
just fucking Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but are you a black belt?
Right.
Like, go
Yeah.
compete. Let's see.
Yeah.
Those poor guys.
Yeah.
But
It's interesting.
we should talk about the ADCC CJI thing.
I want to talk about
what is that? What have I missed?
But before we get into that, I want to talk about the fights that are breaking out at the ADCCs.
Bro, at the worst time, like when you're trying to look like the past like 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Because Mo's done a lot for ADCC.
Sure.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, yes.
especially in the last couple of years.
Just let's be clear. For the world championship, I don't think he's involved with the opens, is he?
I would imagine he has. At
I
least
don't
something
know
to do
what
with
his
it.
involvement is. I know they've got a guy, and I can't remember what his name is, but he's a big dude. He's a black guy, or not a black guy. He's a black belt, bigger guy.
There's a difference.
There's a difference.
Right, he's a black belt, bigger
I'm bilingual.
guy. I don't remember what his name is. They call him. I don't remember what his, but he's like the head referee, and he goes to all of these things, and he's
Okay.
real big in with the organizing.
I know who
these
you're
things.
talking about. You see him at everything.
He's from New Jersey. He does a lot of seminars. If I said his name, you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Probably
right? I can't think of what it is.
Someone's
off the top of my
yelling.
head, but yeah, I don't know how. I mean, he's got to be involved in some aspect of it because it's got the ADCC branding on it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's involved in like those things specifically.
Yeah.
you know?
Here's the thing with the fighting and the whole bit. If you fuck up at an IBJJF tournament, that's your last fucking IBJJF tournament.
Yeah.
And here's what we mean by fuck up an IB. Like Nicholas Marigali flipped off the stands and got booted.
Yeah.
Like they gave him the DQ.
Yeah.
You know, and he's never fought in another one again.
Yeah.
You know, like
is he not allowed to, or is he?
I just think it's I think it's just he's kind of moved on. But I mean, they'll give you a boot regardless of who you are.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to give you anything on that. And the whole ADCC thing is, you know, everyone's like, oh, Guy's dead, Guy's not growing, no Guy's the history, the future. And ADCC's trying to ride that wave of doing that with these things.
Not if you're allowing this shit to happen.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it,
Yeah.
right? You're going to quickly become because I've always told people, right? I've always been like, you want to go somewhere where you're 100% completely safe? I go to a jiu-jitsu tournament.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's a bunch of dudes there who don't want to fuck it up for anybody else.
Yep.
Because this is their outlet, right? That was like the prison weight yard was the best place to be because they knew this was their 1 hour a day they could do something and nobody wanted to screw it up to lose this one privilege, right?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with this, right? AZBJJL. Been to, I don't know how many I've been to since I've been here for almost 6 years now. I've been a couple a year, right? Maybe 12 of them. Never seen an issue with any of those things, right?
No.
Like there's cops there, and I'm like, you guys got the easiest job in the world right now because nothing's gonna jump off.
Yeah.
Because before you could even put a hands on it, there's gonna be 3 of that dude's homies gonna jump out and to pull him off and tell him, hey, you can't do that shit here because you're gonna make us look bad. You're gonna make the academy look bad.
They'll kick your whole team out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's already academies that, like, I don't know if they're necessarily still 86, but
I don't know. But,
You know.
yeah, they haven't come back.
They're pretty much self-regulated.
Yeah.
You know, but the ADCC stuff is not self-regulated right now. And I don't know if it's just a mindset of these guys coming in, you know, the kind of mindset they have. I don't know the age of you know, who are starting these fights or whatever. I mean, yeah, there's been some high-profile stuff at ABGGF, right? Half Gracie, right? That whole situation that went on a few years back, right? Those things do happen every so often, but and not to the extent that you're not seeing.
Yeah, but that
knives.
wasn't on the mat.
Right,
These
that
things
was-
are happening on the mat.
yeah. Well, and here's the thing too, because like a lot of guys are like, oh, what, you can't handle a couple of, you know, fights, pussies. You know, there's always that guy. It's
Sure.
like,
There was an asshole pulled a knife. How about that?
last year, and then but like, look at the difference between like UFC and like Rage in the Cage. It's like there's a prestige and a professionalism that separates those two events. Yes, they're both fighting.
Yeah.
Right? It is human cockfighting. Sure, you can call it that. It is.
Whatever.
It's you know, rough and tumble, but it lives or dies on the enforcement of those rules.
Absolutely.
And if you allow people to break those rules and you just slap them on the wrist, people aren't going to respect that organization.
Yeah.
And I think they need to nip the fighting because I don't remember the last ADCC event that didn't have a fight of some sort.
Yeah.
Right? They all do.
Yeah.
Like all the opens at least, right?
Yeah.
And the trials. There's always someone throwing fists.
Let me tell you something. Here's one thing I know. Competitors don't have money.
Mm-hmm.
They're professional athletes, yes, but they're in a sport that doesn't pay well. Right? So they rely a lot on seminars, stuff like that. So if you lose any kind of casual fan, parents especially, if you lose parents, you're going out of business.
Yeah.
Because they're the only ones buying tickets.
Yeah.
Because the competitors get in off of their sponsorship money or whatever, but it's not much.
Yeah.
You know? So if you have an asshole pulling a knife, you think I'm going to take my kid to an event where a guy could potentially pull a knife?
Yeah.
There's no fucking way.
Right.
And I don't know if there's like a correlation between like what they're trying to portray, like, oh, we're kind of outlawish, you know, steroid use is kind of a joke. It's not.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you and I both know people that started doing steroids at a very young age so they could compete in these things. It's a fucking open that doesn't pay them anything.
Right. They're literally destroying their bodies.
They're destroying their bodies.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like Craig Jones, hilarious. I find him funny. I think it's outrageous what he's doing.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a bad way, where he's portraying themselves as this, I have a steroid sponsor. Cool. But don't fucking sign autographs for that 8-year-old. Tell the 8-year-old, I'm not a fucking role model.
Yeah.
Don't do what I do. I do what I do, and I'm not your guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with that. I would respect the hell out of that. But if you're going around saying, if you need steroids, hit them up. They're my sponsor. Haha, everybody's laughing. There's a fucking 8-year-old that looks up to this guy, and he's signing autographs for that fucking kid.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not okay with that. And any parent...
Would it change your mind if he was just like, when he talked to those kids, he's like, I'm just kidding about all that stuff.
100%. That would be great.
Stay clean, stay healthy, eat right.
Yes.
Listen to your parents.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one way of doing it.
Yeah.
But that's so microscopic compared to what he's doing on camera.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I would respect him for that, but he's still doing it to the masses, right? The masses still believe that he's not. You know, he's not that person. I do love what he's doing with the Craig Jones Invitational, but I think it's going to be a flop.
I don't think it's going to be a flop. I think this event is going to be very successful.
I think so. Well, it could be.
I don't think if he continues to do it, they will remain to be successful.
Yeah, let's see what the staying power is going to be.
The thing with the ADCC is the production value came first.
Yeah.
And the UFC did the exact same thing. UFC wasn't paying their fighters shit, right? And they were building it up. Now the fighters are making decent money, but it was like, okay, we don't have money to pay you yet, right? But we're still the cream of the crop. Everybody wants to be UFC. ADCC has that notoriety, right? And I think their production value alone is going to bring more people to the seats than any $1 million you give to a winner of a tournament nobody gives a shit about.
Potentially.
I mean, that's just my opinion. But like, how many people? I mean, I don't even know what venue they're going to have it in. Like, I have no idea. Like, I know there's a bunch of money on the line, and they're getting a lot of people to compete
for the Craig Jones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thomas and Mack Center.
Is that the UNLV?
Yeah, UNLV, because T-Mobile Arena is where ADCC is. CGI is doing Thomas and Mack.
So how do you get tickets?
I don't know.
I don't know. That's the answer.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
They go on sale tomorrow.
Yeah, but I don't know is the answer.
Yeah.
ADCC sold out, right? ADCC started selling tickets last year.
Yeah.
Right? I disagree with the way they're treating their athletes. I disagree. I think they should be compensated a lot more than they are. But it would take time. I mean, with the T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, you know what I mean? All the big production. That's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, but is it necessary?
Probably not.
Right.
But it would not attract the amount of people that are going to show up. I guarantee it.
Yeah, but there's a give and take though. Like, at what point do you draw that line, right? So how long has ADCC been going on?
There's iterations of it.
Yeah.
Right.
The original iteration, when it was actual Abu Dhabi Combat Club, right? When they flew these fellas out to Abu Dhabi to do this stuff, right? That was 80s, late 80s probably, 88, 89, 90, maybe.
So we're talking almost 40 years.
Yeah, they've been around for a little bit.
How much time do you need to make an organization?
I get it, but they've never gone all in the way they're going in now.
Sure, no, I for sure.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. You have, I don't know, what did they raise? Did they raise like $2 million for the Craig Jones Invitational?
So they have the two divisions pay off. The winner gets $1 million for both divisions.
Yep.
There's the women's division. I don't know if there's two divisions for the women's division or not.
I don't know.
But it's $1 million. It's $10,001 for every person just to show up.
Okay.
And then the remaining amount is going. So it's got to be close to $4 or $5 million.
Okay.
But the remaining goes to some sort of charity, I guess.
So how much of that is going to go into production? Why should we give a shit? We give a shit, right? Because we do it. We train.
Right.
But what about people who don't train? Why should they give a shit?
You mean the spectator wise? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it remains to be seen.
The thing is, like, ADCC is like a Taylor Swift concert with fighting.
Sure.
They do all the lights and the fire and all this shit. It's like fucking cool, man.
Yeah, but to be fair, I feel
and I don't give a shit
there's
either
diminishing returns, because I would bet that if you got rid of all the stupid fucking drums and the what was that? What's that guy's name that does the screaming from Pride?
It was the female announcer.
Yeah,
from Pride. Yeah,
screaming. Like, you get rid of those people because those people are getting paid more than any athlete is.
Yeah.
You know, like, you get rid of those people, I don't think you see a single drop.
Oh man, I disagree. I disagree. Without all of the production that goes in, man, have you, like, the ADCC trials are pretty exciting, right? Pretty exciting. They're fucking unwatchable for people who don't train. They're fucking boring.
So I would say so is the championship.
Not really, because I mean,
I'm not buying a ticket to go watch someone do drums. And
some people do, man. They just want to be entertained. I mean, you can't be, you can't be a talented musician and sit on a stage with your acoustic guitar and expect to sell out an arena. There's got to be a fucking band behind you, and there's got to be fire, and there's got to be all kinds of other shit that brings people going, oh shit, that was awesome.
Right.
That's just a thing, man. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like
I don't think that stuff though is the difference between them making millions and them making $100,000.
okay.
98 is when ADCC started. It was
98?
off by 10. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 1998.
All right, so 30 years.
30 years. That's a long time. But I don't know if they've gone all in like this.
Well, here's what I do like, right? So if you look at the history of ADCC, like some of the early ones, they were inviting really anybody who did any kind of grappling.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You had judo guys, you had sambo guys, a lot of, because it was all invitational at first, right? They didn't have trials or anything like that. They were just inviting dudes, right?
Yeah.
You had college wrestlers that would come. You had MMA fighters, right? You had pure jiu-jitsu athletes. So it was kind of cool. What I do like about CGI is he's starting to do that now, right? You're seeing like Jason Nall, for example, right? Just kick-ass wrestler from Penn State.
Never heard of her.
Yeah. No, that's Pat Tillman.
What?
I'll tell you that story in a minute.
Oh my God.
So
okay. We're gonna be
right.
banned.
But Jason Knopf, former college wrestler, high level guy. I'm 100% sure he was a national champion. Came out of Penn State, great pedigree. Just recently did a professional grappling event, and I don't remember who hosted it, but so he's doing some submission grappling now, and he comes in with this just world class wrestling base. He just got invited to CGI, so it's gonna be interesting, right?
Okay.
There's some talk of Bo Nickel. Right, super tough collegiate wrestler. He's doing some MMA fighting right now, doing some cross training with jiu-jitsu.
I think he's in.
Right. Well, from what I've heard is, he's a UFC athlete, and they've got some tie-in with the ADCC.
Yeah.
So he's got to work out some of that shit, right?
Gotcha.
But long story short, it's kind of cool to see them maybe bring in some of this stuff and bring some of the old school stuff that I think ADCC's got rid of. Listen, I love the trials. I love the opportunity, right? Like it's like the U.S. Open, right? Anybody could play in it as long as you can qualify for it, and that's cool, right? ADCC. You go to a trials and you kick ass on the West Coast, which is arguably the hardest trial to win, and you walk out with that gold medal, you're 100% in with the ADCC championship.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't going to win it, right? If you look at the list of winners, most of them are the invitees, right? The guys who get the invites to this thing. It's not your guys getting, the trials that are coming in.
It's a cool underdog story, though.
It is, right? It is absolutely a great story. If you could come in like just some dude who's a grappler from the West Coast and you won the West Coast trials or whatever trials you won, and you get into this thing, right? But it's generally the invitees that are winning this.
I do love how when the brackets get smaller, you know what I mean? As the fights are going on, it just gets like, how do you get past that person? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it seems so freaking daunting. Like you have two people, like literally like in the when you have the top 8, any one of those can win it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like when you start seeing it go from whatever to whatever to whatever as it boils down, it's like belt progression in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Right? Like 1 billion white belts, and then there's, 500,000 blue belts, right?
Yeah,
It just starts boiling down. You see it line up at the end of a class at a big school when you got a lot of guys showing up for class, right? Whole lot of people at this end. There's maybe 1 or 2 brown belts, right? Like it starts to whittle down a little bit, and it's kind of cool to see that. And you're right, top 8, anybody could take it at that point, and it's that way too with the national championship for wrestling. You see the NCAAs, you get these guys come out of it. You get guys, number 10 versus number 1 sometimes, or this versus that. Like you don't know who's going to win it sometimes. Somebody just comes in with a better game that day, or they wanted it more, or they were trained better. Or, their head was in it probably. More than anything, it was probably their head was in it. Better at that point than anything else. Everyone's world class. Everyone's, trained to the highest level. Everyone's been training for it for 2 years. You're not starting your ADCC training 3 months before.
Yeah,
sure. Like you're on point all
Well, some
year.
people do.
Right. Yeah, Jesus. But
that's my biggest problem with the trials is like there's people who go there just because they want the experience.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
you're gonna
don't do it.
You're gonna end up.
You're wasting everyone's
injured.
time.
Yeah, don't do it.
And
I don't even care if they hurt themselves.
No, agreed, man. Like when you show up, when the trials have to go like multiple days, because they have 200 entries and 180 of them don't belong.
Yeah,
that's. Come on.
You got some blue belt who has never even won like a local tournament.
Yeah,
signing up for the ADCC. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you're just there you're just filling space.
Yeah, you're gonna get killed.
Yeah, it's just like that. I mean, but the argument is there are like look at the Rodriguez brothers. Like there are guys who aren't black belts who go there and fucking win.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So it's like you can't just say don't let blue belts or whoever.
Agreed.
Right.
And that's why I was hoping like that the trials, not trial, but the opens would be used as like a point system
Qualifier
to get into the trials.
That'd be a cool system.
That'd be a great system. I don't know why they don't do that though.
Because they're too busy letting people fight in the hallway.
That's the silliest thing ever, dude.
Back to the original point, like they need to get the professionalism up,
100%
on that kind of stuff. You know, like letting people fight off the mats, under the table.
Yeah.
Like that's stupid. That's fucking stupid.
And if anybody throws hands, you're banned for life.
Yeah.
Like you're never welcome back. And that seems a little extreme, but that'll stop the freaking fighting. That'll stop the punching.
You know, I don't know, and it's you bring this up, but BJJL just released this that there's metal detectors at the doors now.
Good,
right? And I've never, like I said, I've never had an issue at BJJL. I had no idea where it came from, but I have to believe it's in response to some of the stuff we've seen.
It's not the BJJL doing it.
It's the venue.
Oh, is it the venue? And that's fine. I'm fine with that.
It's smart, man. It's smart.
I'm fine with that. You know,
like it's just
we know who runs the security. I'm sure he thought of this.
He thinks about things very deeply.
Yeah.
He's not a dumb human. So
I mean, I always think, you know, I was like, I want to carry my gun. What are you gonna do if something goes? You're gonna start yeeting off rounds when there's 50,000, 500,000 people. Like, what are you're gonna end up clipping some kid for crying out loud more than you are gonna.
The guy who thinks that's okay is the guy who shouldn't be carrying.
100%.
Like you gotta, man. That's like you gotta know. Like, awesome, you've got a gun on you. What are you going to do, right? Look, what are you absolutely going to do when everyone's running, right? And you're not going to get a good sight picture. You don't know who's behind there. You're going to start just yeeting off rounds, hoping to hit this guy.
Danny's going to bring stuff in his prison wallet. So
I think the metal detector works through his prison wallet.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I mean, it's a smart choice. But like back to the ADCC, they need to figure this shit out.
Yeah. They have a golden opportunity, man.
100%. They've got a golden opportunity to tap into this.
Because I mean, let's look at like aside from the World Championships, IBJJF, Nogi. There's small brackets. You know what I mean? It's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, and they're trying to implement things to make it a little bit more watchable. Like I get it. Really cool. They're doing good stuff.
Yeah.
But it's more prestigious to win an ADCC Open than it is an IB. In my opinion, I don't know. I don't know. But if they were to just flip that and have like a amateur and pro division, in the pro division you're earning points for the trials, that would bring more eyes. I think I would watch
100%. Create or utilize that sort of system.
Yeah. What a great opportunity to grow it.
Which when they first announced that they were going to start doing these opens, I was like, they're 100% going to do this.
Yeah,
they're going to 100% make a point system to qualify for the trials.
Yeah,
because the West Coast trials last year was a fucking shit show.
I bet so many entries. Was that what it? So many
long of a day. Because I remember like we were there like with Aaron Wilson, Josh. Issa, like we knew a lot of people that were competing. They would have their match, they'd win their match, and it would be like 2 hours for their next match because they had to go through like this, 500 person bracket of half the people, or probably 3/4 of those people don't belong there.
Yeah.
It's a great rule set. I love the ADCC rule set.
I don't completely understand it, but I can see why.
I mean, the first half of the match is submission only.
Okay.
Right. So you're not trying to hang on to something just for the pure fact that you don't want to lose by an advantage or you don't want to lose by points. Right.
Yeah.
And if you get taken down, awesome. Right. Hey, great. Cool.
Now I can play my guard.
Yeah. Right. Now I can play my guard. It doesn't matter at that point. You're not down by points. You can start spamming submissions if you want to and hope to catch something.
Yeah.
Right? And not worry about if I throw up this triangle and he passes my guard, now I'm down by 2.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Or I'm down by 3 or whatever, and I'm stuck in a shitty side control,
Yeah.
So you can do that kind of stuff. Now the second half of it is where the points start. And in the championships, you're all on your feet. You can't pull, right? You can't pull it all in the championship match, so you got to work for that takedown. So it's more of a pure grappling at that. That's why I always say it's submission.
I feel
grappling.
so bad for wrestlers because they they can't get it to the ground without, they had to penalize the guard pullers.
We got it's more inclusive that way.
I know.
And I also like that the ref is only responsible for directing the action on the mat. They don't award points. You got 2 people on the table doing that. So the guy on the mat can pay attention to the situation and worry about that. Like, that's the thing that always fears me. Like, if I were to ever do like an AZBJJL ref or IBJJF, like,
you got to pay attention to everything.
I got to pay attention to everything. Like, if I nod off for a second, like, which I'm wanted to do, like,
I would be good for the first hour. And then after that, somebody would score points. I'm like, oh shit, who was on top?
I did the Phoenix Open 2 years ago, or not this year, but the year before. So yeah, 2 years ago technically. I probably did 110 matches.
IBJJF?
No, ADCC Open.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I probably did 110 matches.
Not the most recent one. It was the last Phoenix Open.
Yeah, and it was cool, right? Because you saw a lot of people like Joe Big Daddy Stevenson was there. The Martinez brothers from 10th Planet were there. And then who else was there? Like Dan Mansour, the Jiu-Jitsu giant, was on my mat. He was cool.
That's cool.
Gigantic guy, right? It was cool to watch the stuff up close and see it. It was some high-level guy. I remember this guy on my mat. Like when you talk about like somebody comes out of nowhere, I don't remember where they were from. I could look it up because I remember what bracket he was in and stuff. But they were from some small country in Europe. And this guy didn't look like much.
They're all small in Europe.
Yeah, but like some little like you know, Slovakistan or something like that. Like I don't even know what it was.
Yeah.
Like just some small country, right?
Yeah.
And Slovenia or something like that. I thought it was, and it was just some tiny country, and they came.
Oh, I just realized I'm gonna probably piss off that one Italian watcher.
Who cares?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. No, we love you. We love you, Italy. We have a few from Greece. That's kind of cool.
Really?
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I just realized I put it together in my own brain why I have such a problem with that CJI. Number one, I'm biased.
You didn't think about it.
You
I didn't
hate
think about it.
Australians.
Yeah.
I get it.
Number one, I hate Australians. I'm just
Well,
kidding.
they're all criminals.
No, that's history. But no, it's not. That's not it. I have a little bit of a bias against Craig Jones because of that steroid thing. I admit that, but that's not the reason why. I just don't know how much thought he's put into it because in my brain, he's coming across like someone that didn't put a lot of thought
Like
into
it's a
what
joke.
he's doing.
The whole thing's a joke.
Yeah.
Well, the guy
And I
is
know
kind
it's
of
not-
tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
Every time you
agreed.
open his mouth, he's almost like a walking meme.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
like
like
when he
a
was on the
walking
JRE and,
But he's not
and Joe was
stupid.
asking him questions, and I'm like, can you just give a straight answer, please?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of it ends up being like that, where you're like, okay, I love the funny part. Like
The shtick is
it's really
over.
funny to me,
Yeah.
but like I really want some real information from you.
Yeah,
right
like
now.
why should I give a shit?
Yeah,
You know?
which he has given good answers to a lot of these questions,
Yeah.
that I've seen. But
I
like,
haven't paid a lot of attention.
It
That's
does
my problem.
get a little old sometimes when
Yeah.
you're just like, all I want to know is whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But why should I give a shit?
Yeah.
Is primarily like what's on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, with the ADCC, I know why I give a shit because of the history of it. It's been
Yeah.
around a long time. You know, a lot of prestige, a lot of people that I admire have competed and whatever. But
I appreciate pot stirring, so fuck it.
yeah,
Let's go.
That's
yeah.
good.
No, I'm good with stirring the pot, but I really like I had to like internalize like why I have such a problem with it, and that's it. Like I don't know how much thought he's put into it.
Yeah.
And if it was him and like who were the guys that bought the UFC with Joe Rogan and not Joe Rogan with Dana White and they sold it for Fertitta Brothers.
Oh, yeah, that's them, yeah.
The Fertitta. If it was like him and the Fertitta Brothers, I'd be like, okay, this is fucking legit.
Yeah, you got the face.
Yes.
And then you got the business guys.
Yeah, but you've got this guy who's like, as far as I know, he's not a millionaire.
Craig Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe he comes from billions of dollars. I don't know.
Oh, he definitely doesn't come from.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how much he's making off of just being kind of a goofball jiu-jitsu guy.
He might be making. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. But it just seems like there's not a lot of thought put into this, and he's gonna. He's fucking with people's futures if he's not right.
Yeah.
You know,
Meh.
in a way,
Remains
he
to
is.
be seen. Remains
Yeah,
to be seen.
I don't
but
know.
yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, it's. I don't know. To me, it seems like because I haven't heard of it before, because it didn't come up until recently, it seems impulsive, and I think that's my problem.
To
with
that point about
and that's
fucking
all me.
with guys,
That's all me.
in my opinion, it would be really short-sighted for Mo or the ADCC to blacklist these athletes.
Oh, that's stupid.
It would
No, it's not their fault. Yeah.
Because like you gotta come from like these athletes. Like a lot of these guys aren't making a ton of money. Like especially if they've never won the ADCC.
Yeah.
Like Fionn Davies won ADCC last year, so she has like some selling power. Like as far as like when it comes to doing seminars and all that. A lot of these guys are just good, but that doesn't mean that they can have a $10,000 seminar.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So like if someone's like, hey, I'm gonna give you $10,000 just to show up, they're like, I kind of have to.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
But on a larger scale, I think in 10 years, it's going to mean more that you were an ADCC champion than you were a CJI. Only because I don't believe in the staying power of the CJI yet. Because I haven't seen it. They haven't proven that they have backing and staying power.
Right. Well,
all they've shown is money, and that's bullshit.
But that also assumes that prestige you can take to the bank. It just depends.
Samir put it the best. If you win a gold medal and you don't know how to monetize it, that's on you.
Sure.
That's on you. Because I mean, when he was winning championships, there was no freaking $1 million and there was no $5,000, $10,000 showing up, and he seemed to be doing pretty damn well, right? With just being able to monetize.
Not trying to mince words, but like a lot of these guys are idiots.
100%.
I mean, but that's the thing.
But that's the thing.
It's because they've put all of their focus, all their brain power into being really good at jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
So they don't have that business mindset that Samir has.
Agreed.
That's not saying that Samir didn't put all of his energy into jiu-jitsu, because obviously Samir is super
He's
talented.
a stud, yeah.
But I mean, it's a little shallow to just be like, well, it's on them. I mean, it is on them.
But think of the perspective that he's coming from, right? He's done it, right? He's monetized it. He's doing well.
For sure, yeah.
And he's offering his services to teach him how to do it.
Right.
You're right. And I was going to say that. It is so there's like an old Stoic saying of you either suffer with your fellow man or because of them, right? So you're either going to suffer with them in that you're walking the path and trying to help them, or you're going to suffer because of the poor decisions they're making because you didn't try and help them, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen that really in professional sports over the last 20 years where they recognize, right? What's the old saying, like youth is wasted on the young?
Yeah.
Right? Dude, when you're 25 years old and someone just put a $10 million contract in front of your face, which is nothing right now, but back, but whatever you want to call it, right? You think that money is never going to run out.
Yeah.
$10 million is never going to run out. You fucking kidding me? I blow through $10 million in a week if you gave me that amount of money and I had the opportunity. Like I could figure out a way to spend that.
But remember when we were watching Daisy Fresh? Like these guys like sleeping in this gym that's falling apart. If you gave those guys a $10,000 check, they're rich.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
in their world, they're
in their
rich.
world. Yeah.
But right. But what I'm trying to say is athletic organizations, NBA, NFL, they're starting to recognize this kind of thing, that these guys aren't going to play this game or girls aren't going to play these games forever, right? That they've got to learn how to make smart investments. And you don't want to invest with your buddy Jim, who's opening up a strip mall.
Yeah.
You're going to get fleeced.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't want to have
car washes. Someone was saying car washes are a big thing. Their buddy's like, "Oh, we're gonna do this car wash." Always loses money.
Yeah. Right. You're not gonna. You don't want. Hey, this dude I know took a couple accounting classes at Mesa Community College or Maricopa Community College. Online.
Online.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's gonna manage my funds for me. Right. Awesome. He took 2 accounting classes, right? You got to be smart about how you do this. And realistically, at some point, I don't know if IBJJF does that, but, maybe they start looking at these kind of things, right? Samir's, right? Great competitor, runs a great academy, awesome dude to talk to. He's helping with some of these young, very well-known athletes out there.
Which is
awesome
definitely a niche that has not been filled. And Samir placed himself in the perfect spot.
Absolutely.
He's just like, he's got big names. I don't know if we want to name him, but like it's just like
I think
good for him.
Gabriel Souza is one of them.
Fionn Davies.
He might have some. I thought he just signed somebody else recently
he did.
too.
I can't remember who, but he signed it.
He's got a sports.
But it's like that's awesome because it's something. These people are like finally getting to the level where like they need someone to do this stuff.
Well, the problem they have is they get in these echo chambers where they've got 20 people in their entourage who are all telling them the same thing. You're a great guy. You're going to be the champ forever. You're going to be this, you're that, and everything. And they're paying these guys $5,000 a week to hang out with them, right? And then when the money's gone, they're gone. And there's been nobody to stay on the sidelines and say, hey, you might want to pump the brakes on this champ and think about this, right? This is not a good idea. You need somebody to, if there's 10 people saying no, find the 11th or saying yes. You got to find the 11th to say no to you, to slow you down.
Yeah.
You can't have everybody who says no to you or yes to you.
Yeah.
So.
No, agreed, man. Agreed. All right, boys, we've been going at it for an hour and a half. I want to go downstairs and eat.
Okay, fine.
You guys hungry?
We've got a weight class to get into.
Yeah,
that's right. We're going. Are we all going up?
I'm gonna go watch you guys eat.
That's right. You got a competition next week. Eh?
I do.
2 weeks.
I do. Next week.
He's going up in weight though. He doesn't count.
Yeah, I'm doing 195.
AZBJJL coming up on the 22nd.
Yep. Excited about that, man.
This weekend.
You just have one in your bracket?
Yeah, me and Carl.
Cool.
And you've got American Nationals. Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. Good on
2
you
weeks.
Guys.
2 weeks. Yeah, the weekend after, probably the Thursday or Friday after.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can stay unbroken.
They haven't announced it.
Yeah, I'm not going.
We'll see you guys at the Masters.
Yeah. No, I want to do Phoenix Open too.
Yeah.
As a tune-up for Masters. I think it's a week before.
Not a bad.
Like, what is it? Yeah, it's like the 15th or something.
Yeah. Well, 2 weeks then. 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
That's positioned perfectly. for that.
Yeah, little tune-up, do the division and the open, and then get ready for Master Worlds. Hopefully I qualify for the open there.
Yourself?
Hey, I got to do it, man.
Yeah.
Got to do it. All right, everybody, if you love the podcast or if you hate the podcast, please like and subscribe. Please follow us on Instagram, the BJJ Foxcast. I want to thank my buddies Tojo and Dan for being on the show. I love you guys. Thank you for coming on. And if you guys want to leave us really mean comments, please do. We love shitting on the comments, and you might make the show. Right? All right, guys. Thank you.
Peace.
At me.
This episode of the BJJ Foxcast is brought to you by BioPro. BioPro is an all-natural alternative to prescription human growth hormone, which aids in recovery, anti-aging, metabolism, libido, immunity, skin health, cognition, sleep, and stress. Just one vial per day provides a substantial boost to all of these growth factors. Okay, so that's what they want me to say. Here's what I know as an aging grappler. I've been using BioPro Plus and the nighttime variant, BioPro Plus Cortisleep, for several months, and it feels like I've grown a third lung. My gas tank is noticeably bigger. My recovery is faster, and I'm back on the mats much quicker, not just between training sessions, but between rounds. Now you can get $30 off your first order of BioPro when you use the code FOXCAST at www.bioproteintech.com. That's code FOXCAST for $30 off your first order at www.bioproteintech.com. Thank you, BioPro.